cross the border, the first step they take is an illegal step. So they are illegally here. And I believe that we need to have compassion. I'm not compassionless. If somebody's been here 50 years and they've paid taxes, but we've got to figure this out. It's complicated. We've got a divided Congress, but with a unified Congress and with somebody like me, in spite of, we're going to argue a bit, wait till you hear our questions and answers. But I know how to bring people together, and we can bring people together on something as simple as fixing immigration for the good people that need to stay. But it's not so many. We need to keep doing what we're doing and keep it up, and it will reap benefits. We're already seeing it. You just can't feel it. But you can see as these criminals leave, it's helping all of us. Crime's going down for that.
So how do you balance border security and the rule of law with the economic and human impact on working individuals and families already living here?
I would say most working families and most working individuals have cell phones, and every one of them provided an ID to buy their cell phone. So there is no reason why we cannot solve the problem by creating systems that require voter ID. Now, do we have people that have a problem getting an ID? Absolutely. And I think there needs to be compassion. We need to have empathy and systems to help solve that problem as opposed to changing the law for everyone. So the 99% of people that have the ability to get an ID, produce an ID, and show who they are, we should absolutely enforce. And those who can't, we need a system and a process to help solve that problem, because every single person should be able to get an ID. They use an ID to buy a cell phone, they use an ID to rent a car, they use an ID to drive. They can certainly put an ID together to decide the fate of our country.
I just heard the word empathy, compassion, and long-term residents. So this is your opportunity now to be specific. What is your strategy for addressing long-term residents, such as DACA recipients and dreamers, who are already deeply integrated into our economy, but face renewed legal uncertainty?
So, am I answering? Okay. Anyone who came in under Biden needs to go back. Let's start there. The people that have been law-abiding citizens, paying taxes, and being engaged in our country have to have a legal and safe path to immigration. And how my proposal on making that happen is to create a taxation system that for the number of years that they have been in our country, to help them create the opportunity, create the systems, create the processes. I have immigrated a lot of people here, and I can tell you it's very expensive, it's very complicated, it's very unfair, it is extremely challenging for people to get through that process. And so we have to improve that process, we have to streamline the process, and we have to create a path of opportunity for anyone who's been in this country for an extended period of time, especially dreamers, especially people who didn't choose to come here when they were 14, 15 years old. They have nothing to go back to. We have to have the empathy and the opportunity for them to become American citizens.
So I just want to clear one thing up. You were talking about voter ID earlier, right? But the question was about the border. I think your accent, I don't know if you want to ask her again or what, but it was an answer to a question you had asked. That's true. So now we're talking about the border. So anyway, look, 110,000, anybody know what that number is? That's the number of American kids who died last year of fentanyl poisoning. How about we save the lives of those 110,000 kids first before I worry about anybody else? I've been to 5 funerals in this area of little kids. For the most part, they're young Americans. They tend to die of this stuff more than others, but we got to fix that, and Trump is doing it. Every time he blows up a boat, I'm like, thank God. I mean, it's great. We're stopping the death and the murder, and once we get that under control, and once the border's under control, although it is almost under control, Trump's doing a masterful job of that. Once that is, then we need to come up with a plan, and it's got to be bipartisan, so we're going to have to talk to the Democrats and work with them. It's not gonna happen with one-party rules. So we'll try to come up with a plan for the DACA recipients. We'll try to come up with a plan for the people who should have some kind of a path to citizenship, but we shouldn't reward them because we don't want this to ever happen again. Thank you.
That's right.
Moving on to Social Security, Medicare, and public assistance. Mark, you will answer this first. Social Security's Old Age and Survivors Insurance Trust Fund is projected to run out of reserves by late 2032. According to the recent analysis of the 2025 Trustees Report, it could only pay out 77% of the scheduled benefits. However, Congress has time to act to prevent this dilemma. What are your specific proposals to address this issue?
So specifically, what we're talking about is Congress keeps kicking the can down the road. It is a bankrupt system. It is not sustainable. And the only thing we can do is reform it, but we're not going to take benefits away from anybody who's paid into the system, including me. So I'm for maintaining all the spending and the levels for the existing people that have paid into it, and yet we know that it doesn't work. We know that it's upside down. So what we have to do is have an alternative plan along the lines of an IRA or a SEP IRA or a KEO pensions, and have an opt-in, opt-out, as well as even talk in a bipartisan fashion in Congress with people about changing perhaps the retirement age. Now we're talking about 18-year-olds, not people my age, but people live longer now. So we just need to make the system work. Maybe it worked 50 years ago, it doesn't work today, but people can come together to fix it, but we've got to have common sense people who aren't sellouts that just want to kick the can. Thank you.
We have an opportunity with the robust economy that we are currently experiencing to solve the problem with Social Security once and for all. It is bankrupt by 2032, as she says. It will not be fundable, and so we have to come up with solutions, and those solutions can come from some of the tariffs. We have a plan in place that we could utilize to help fund Social Security in that way. I think the other place that Social Security has to be addressed is looking at the corruption. There are many, many people who are taking benefits from our government who are not qualified and perfectly able to go out and get their own opportunity. So when we think about Social Security, we have to protect the most vulnerable people in our society. We have to protect the young and we have to protect the old. We have to protect the veterans who have created the opportunities that we have today. And each one of those are the target for our Social Security benefits. And so, all of the changes, making ages different and funding it are the things that I would recommend to create a sustainable Social Security. Thank you.
So next question is about education. We go to you, Jennifer, first. Do you favor federal policies that promote charter schools and school choice, including greater parental control over educational decisions? Please explain your reasoning.
I absolutely believe in charter schools and giving as much power to parents. Parents are the experts on their kids, on their health, and on their education, and the government is supposed to stand out of the way. The government is not the expert on our kids, we are, and we absolutely should allow parents to make their own educational decisions. With that said, abolishing the Department of Education is absolutely what we needed to do. Education has not gotten better since the Department of Education was created. It has plummeted into an unrecognizable place, and I saw it personally when my kids were home with COVID, and I saw the crazy conversations that were being had in those classrooms. And so anything we can do to put the power and the freedom back to the families is what we would recommend, and absolutely allowing them to make the choices that they can to protect their own families and educate their children the way that they want. Thank you.
Yeah, so, a lot of you know how I feel about this. I'm 100% behind charter schools, homeschools, private schools, religious schools, And the place where you can least get educated, unfortunately, are our public schools. And our public schools spend double the money to educate the kids than the private schools do. What's wrong with that? Well, you have government in the way, you got layers of bureaucracy. I told Raja in our debates, and we've talked otherwise, that we need to, get rid of the Department of Energy, and he laughed at me. Look that up, Well, who's laughing now? I went to his, he had one of these town hall meetings, and he started crying because Trump had just closed the Department of Education. So God bless Donald Trump for doing that. We got rid of the Department of Education, and I'll tell you what the federal government can do. Get the hell out of the way. That's first of all. But where they need to step in is if the state of Illinois, if it is continued to be run locally by liberals and leftists like Johnson and Pritzker and the CTU, the teachers union, the federal government needs to step in and say, you're breaking federal law if you make my kid put a shot into his body. Or you keep my kid out of school. Or you make my kid wear a mask. You know what? Let's put those guys in jail. Make that a federal law that they can't destroy our children anymore. Thank you.
Okay, let's move on to social issues. The shooting of Renee Good in Minnesota has ignited public outrage, protests, political debate. I think I know where you both stand on the issue, but your thoughts